Hello again, friends. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I've been waiting for such a long time to review because it took several months for me to read it. And that book, I know I'm way behind the times here, but that book is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. So this is the movie cover version that I got for my birthday, and I've just realized that it kind of blends in with everything else behind me, so I hope that you can see it. So I read this with a friend of mine in sort of like a book club style. We would read the same number of sections, since this isn't really divided into chapters, but we'd read the same number of sections each week and then talk about it on the phone for a little while and see where we were at, like a little book club. So that's why it took me so long to read it, and I think that that actually had a great impact on my overall view of the book and how much I enjoyed it. Sometimes it felt like I just wanted to plow through to the next couple sections just to keep going, and sometimes I was like, wow, so glad I can stop this for this week because I'm just over it. If you haven't already seen the movie or already read the book, Gone Girl is about this man named Nick Dunn who is married to a woman named Amy, and their marriage is definitely falling apart. They met when they were in their mid-20s, when they were both living in New York, both as writers, and Amy comes from a considerable amount of money and a little bit of fame. Her parents are authors of a children's book series about her called Amazing Amy, and she has been sort of like their star child and like prize of their life, not only as a child but as the inspiration for these books. So she meets Nick and sort of gets out of that limelight a little bit, and they're happily living in New York for a while before there is some unfortunate financial situation going on, some happenings there, and they are forced to move to Missouri, where Nick is originally from, sort of to take care of his ailing mother and just because they can't afford to live in New York anymore. Anyway, on the morning of their 5-year anniversary of being married, Nick discovers her missing and their house is sort of in disarray, and it's very clear that something's happened and Amy is now gone. So as one does, he calls the police and the search for quote-unquote Amazing Amy begins. This is my first Gillian Flynn novel that I have read. I wanted to read them in the order that she wrote them: Sharp Objects, Dark Places, Gone Girl, but when the opportunity came to book club this, I sort of just started with this one. I didn't love it. I'm not exactly new to the psychological thriller genre. It's not my preference to read, but this certainly wasn't my first, and I didn't find it, I don't know, maybe I'm twisted in the fact that I didn't find it gripping and scary enough, or maybe it was the pace that I read it at or something, but it definitely just felt like it was event after event of nothing really happening. Things kept happening and things were going on, but it felt at the same time like it was dragging, like there was, like the events were just put there to have another event, and oh, this needed to happen, and this needed to happen, and by the way, here's another surprise, and here's just layers and layers of smaller events that eventually lead up to a large reveal in the second portion of the book, which didn't surprise me. It wasn't one of those instances where I saw it coming or anything, or predicted that the reveal was going to happen the way it did, but it happened and I sort of went, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get that. That makes sense. And it just sort of went on in the same vein of the characters being so real, which is an accolade for the book, for sure. Like, the characters do feel like real people that I would be constantly annoyed with on a daily basis if I had to encounter them in real life. Almost every character in this entire book drove me crazy. There was really no one that I particularly liked. They all just kept doing stupid thing after stupid thing and throwing themselves into more and more trouble, as it were, and I wanted to punch all of them. Then again, any author that can make you feel that strongly about characters is probably doing a very good job. Additionally, it may have been the way that they perpetually used each other's names. The narrator for half the book, because it switches on and off between diary entries of Amy and Nick's point of view as you go through how many days missing Amy is. And they use each other's names an incredible amount. I feel like when I talk to someone that I know really well, I don't use their name every third sentence. When Bex and I talk to each other, I don't say, okay, Bex, how are you? All right, great, Bex. That's great, Bex. Bex, come on. No, I I hardly say people's names, and everyone used each other's names so often in a two-person dialogue in this book that it was incredibly off-putting, and it's one of those small, tiny, just textual details that really, really upset me. Additionally, Nick has a twin sister named Margot that he calls Go, and she just kept getting called Go too much. Every 5 minutes, she just tossed in another Go everywhere. Go, go, go. And, like, I get that Go is a nickname for Margot. I totally understand that. But do you need to say it every third sentence? You don't. You really don't need to do it. So while it's clear that I probably would have made a few different writing choices if I were writing the syntax in this book, it was not altogether a bad novel. It did have, as I mentioned, a surprising number of events that kept it moving forward. There was always something that was new, that was happening, that was going on. People kept digging themselves into deeper and deeper amounts of trouble, and it was cliffhangery enough to continue going. I do want to touch on the ending because I know a couple people who really don't like the ending, and a few people who have said that they don't like the ending for the reason you're not supposed to like the ending, and it's hard to describe without actually spoiling the book at all. But I just want to say this for those of you that have seen the movie and read the book. There's no other way that this book could have ended. It ended in a way that fit the tone and the genre of the rest of the text. I definitely just missed the book there. And it couldn't have been done any other way. It needed to be that way in order to frustrate you the way the rest of the book frustrated you, or at least it frustrated me. I personally thought the ending was a little bit lame, but thinking back on it, there's really no way it could have been done to suit the rest of the plot. Overall, I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars and an underline in my reading journal that says, God, I hate Amy. Please let me know what you think of Gone Girl down in the comments. I know a lot of people really love Gillian Flynn's work and her writing and just think that it is incredible, and I went into it sort of expecting that, and that's not how I came out of the book feeling, obviously. So I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, different perspectives on it. So I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives, and we will see you very soon with another video. God, I hate Amy.